Good afternoon. Today I'll be discussing Emotional Intelligence 2.0 by Travis Bradberry. In his book, Bradberry lays out 4 pillars of emotional intelligence. They are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. Below all these pillars, he lays out 66 strategies for accomplishing each and allowing yourself to improve in each category. I have picked some of my favorite and I will discuss them. I took the EQ test on the website and my scores are shown here on this paper. As far as my own scores, I did a little worse than I thought I would. I'm not the most emotional person, but I thought I had a better idea of myself, especially self-awareness and self-management. That score shocked me a little bit, but my social awareness and relationship management I'm not really surprised by, being as I'm not a very social person. So for my self-awareness, I got a 63. My self-management, I got a 65. Social awareness, a 61, and relationship management, a 61. Reading all the strategies in the book, I obviously have plenty of resources to improve these scores, and I'd like to go into some of the ones I thought were great, so for me to improve on my EQ. So I'm going to start pillar by pillar. I'm going to start with self-awareness strategies. I really like number 1, quit treating your feelings as good or bad. So, self-awareness. On page 63, it lays out all of the self-awareness strategies. So quit treating your feelings as good or bad, number 1. You shouldn't, how should I put this? Feelings have your emotions have a physical effect on you, which is also set out in the book under self-management strategies. When you feel a feeling, it can give you a false sense of the situation, and you may be thinking you're doing worse than you actually are, and that can affect your performance because it puts you into a state of mind where I can't succeed no matter what I do, which is wrong and will not be conducive to any productive actions. Bradberry says it's human nature to create 2 simple and easy piles of emotions, the good ones and the bad ones. You don't want to feel it. You might even beat yourself up about it. That will definitely have an impact on your mental health and will not let you be a good leader in a stressful situation. Next one I picked was number 3, lean into your discomfort. We tend to avoid discomfort, uncomfortable situations. I know I do. I don't like to put myself out there and be vulnerable. Sometimes it's necessary in order to get things done or to make new relationships. And the more you do so, it's like working out. The more you work out a muscle, the more endurance it builds up and the bigger it gets. And it no longer feels uncomfortable to exercise that muscle group as it did in the past. So going out and doing things that make you uncomfortable could be beneficial. The next one I liked under self-awareness strategies was knowing who and what pushes your buttons. I definitely have things that trigger me to get angry, and at times it can feel overwhelming with how many different things you have to juggle at once. I guess it'd be a trigger point when I get pulled in too many different directions, and I don't feel like I'm able to put out a quality result in any situation, and I can only do a mediocre in a bunch of different ones, and that does not make me happy. So knowing knowing what drives you crazy and what your pet peeves are, you can figure out how to control your anger and frustration, which can help you lead better decisions, because most decisions made out of anger are not the right ones, and they don't help anything at all. Number 10, stop and ask why you do the things you do. As we've talked about before in class, your why is very important to what you do. It's not so much as what you do, it's why you do it. The why you do it gives you a concrete bit of logic to say, okay, I'm going to do this because I enjoy it, because I have to. Because you ask why do I have to? And it can lead you to a more rational place and understand yourself better. Moving on to self-management strategies, I really liked breathing right. Since, like I said before, your emotions are tied into your physiology, the two are tied together. Breathing right can help you. Breathing right, literally, it oxygenates your blood, gets more blood flowing, and a higher oxygen concentration in your body will allows your brain to function better and allows you to make better decisions. And it says basically that in the book. Number 8, setting aside time for problem solving. When you problem solve all the time and you never get to stop and think about individual problems because there's so many problems at once, you can't organize your solutions or even begin to organize the single solution because your mind will be cluttered up. I think it's best to just set aside 15-20 minutes a day to think about 1 or 2 problems and work through them quietly in a quiet area where you have no other distractions, because people really can't multitask like we like to think we can. Working on multiple things at once generally does not help. You can't. Your focus, a divided focus, will not help you create a good product. Taking control of your self-talk. That kind of ties into, taking control of your self-talk ties into your perception of yourself. It goes back to, I think it kind of goes back to treating your feelings as good or bad, because the way you feel will have a reaction on how you do things in whatever situation you're in. And when something doesn't go right, your self-talk turns to negative, saying things, I'm terrible, I'm a failure. That's not a good thing to do, to beat yourself up, because it could cause future failures, because you're already predisposed to thinking you're a failure. One of my favorite YouTubers, Steven Crowder, he does a bit called Crowder Closes, and in one of them he said, failure is always an option. It's not an option we want, but to say failure is not an option doesn't help things. And I agree with him on that. And putting a mental recharge in your schedule, number 16, for self-management strategies. I have found that it's really difficult for me to do homework and do really anything on Saturday. Unless I have a mountain of things to do, I will take Saturday off, because I know, and I've tried in the past recently to work on things, and it just doesn't happen, no matter how much I want to. So I just decide to take that one day off a week to not do anything school related, to go do whatever I want to do, sleep in, and just recharge. And it's really helped me in the past. Also, even a daily recharge, I found that when I've skipped lunch at work, because I really needed to get something done, I've gotten far less done on that project than I would have if I just taken 30 minutes and went and eaten lunch. It goes back to physical stuff, the physiology of it, of not having any energy in your body to perform tasks. Moving on to the third pillar of social awareness. Social awareness strategies. We're on page 138. Planning ahead for social gatherings and other things. I am an engineer. I like to plan ahead for things and plan for worst case scenarios. Maybe it's also my socially awkward self that does this too. But I like to think about what am I going to say, who am I going to talk to, if a person of this type is there, how do I interact with them, who do I need to avoid. Planning ahead is a good idea. Again, plans aren't perfect and they're not absolute, but it can at least give you an idea of what to expect and get into a mental state to be ready to interact. Living in the moment. So you plan for the situation, then when you get to the situation, you live in the moment. Focus on that second, that moment in time, and don't worry about the future. Because if you start thinking about the future, if you think about the future too much, you might get some preconceived notions that aren't there, and it can throw off your current interaction, your current project. So don't do any planning when you're executing. I guess would be the best way to put that. Understanding culture, that's a big one. If you're a business traveler, military leader, or something along those lines, cultures definitely vary around the world, and you need to understand them because people behave differently. Social behavior, different behavior that is accepted socially differs all around the world, as we discussed in class in Afghanistan. The leaders of the village, the officers have the right to go to the elders of the village and talk with them. They could barge in there and just interrupt the meeting and make a big deal about it, but that's not going to help your situation working with the Afghani elders. You need to understand their local customs and abide by those so they are more willing to help you instead of betray you. Number 17, catching the mood of the room. This is an important one. I'm just going to flip to it. It's on page 173. You need to tailor your behavior, your personality to the mood of the room. A large social gathering, you could be a little more lighthearted and humorous versus a trial. If you're like a trial lawyer, you need to be serious and business only, and really focus on the situation of what you're doing. He had a really good, in fact, he compares the difference between walking into a jury duty room and a room of 125 entrepreneurs. The two rooms would be very different because the entrepreneurs are trying to be social, make business connections, and the people who are being selected for jury duty are being required to be quiet, but they more than likely don't want it. They're not terribly happy to be there, to have an inconvenience in their lives like jury duty, unfortunately. The final pillar is relationship management. The relationship management strategies I liked were be open. So I'm going to start with number 1. Be open and curious. Being open with people will let them see you for who you are, and it will help them make the decision whether they want to interact with you. And it could do the same. Being open could do the same for you, seeing whether this person worth talking to and worth interacting with. And then being curious, if you wish to continue to have a relationship or conversation with this individual. you could just have questions for them because you're genuinely interested. It's kind of like going on a date, I guess. You obviously want to be there, and you ask questions to get a conversation going. You just want to talk to the person. Being open and curious will help you do that. Remember, little things pack a punch. So that could go back to those cultural differences, even within the United States. Maybe some environments, you can tell a off-color joke, and it will be well received. And then in other times, you think it might work, and it completely flops, and it makes you a kind of a black sheep in the room. So you need to be aware of little things, or little, even how you say things with maybe a dialect or something. Using improper English in certain environments might not be the best. For example, like at a job interview, you need to be professional there. Take feedback well. If you can dish it out, you need to be able to take it, and it's sometimes painful to receive feedback, but it's necessary because you cannot improve unless you receive that feedback. Let's say we run a mission in the lab and it didn't go too well, or you thought it went kind of well, and maybe some of the other cadets are kind of giving you stuff for not running as well as it could have been run. You need to be able to take that feedback with strength and just, this is where I can improve, and just see that as a learning experience, not necessarily that they're going to hate you forever for whatever, but it's definitely, you need to be able to have feedback for you to improve. Finally, number 9, don't avoid the inevitable. In the book, they used an example of 2 coworkers who one doesn't like the other, and all of a sudden they have to work on a project together. And the first coworker uses a bunch of excuses to brush off the other coworker, and they have to work on a project. They've got to get this project done, and it's not going to help you to just brush them off and hope that goes away, because it's not. You need to just accept the situation, bite the bullet, and embrace the suck. Maybe even figure out why you don't like them if you have no real solid reason for not liking this person, and try your best to work with them. So those were some of my favorite strategies.